Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, red alert once again. It's showtime. I guess. Back again. Pressed the button twice. Took 2 presses to make that button work. Damn it. Alright, here we are. What were we going to do again? Well, it is about that time for me to do some more water harvesting. Second, I was like looking for my cisterns. And let's deposit all our water in our cisterns. Basically, once you get a couple of cisterns and you get the scythe, every morning before dawn, you want to grab the water, because this is just free water at this point. We're at almost 2.5 liters we've just harvested. This will be 2.5. Yep, just that fast. Good evening to whomever has joined me. You are indeed welcome. And we will now head to a place where we can harvest a little bit more. Maybe shoot some folks. They're bad guys, don't worry. I can run across his pentashield, I think. Go ahead and put our shield on. You have a friend up here too? They had the temerity to try to shoot me. Well, actually, they did shoot me. I took a little damage. I think there are not more over here, despite the fact that it has the sort of misty glow that one associates with the dew plants, but there are more over there. And it is optimal time, so this is when you want to grab the delicious free water. Don't even have to kill anyone for it unless they start shooting you, in which case you have to kill them for it. But you could hardly be blamed for that. Let's go ahead and top off our personal water supply, as in the stuff we're carrying in our body. And we've topped that off. We'll drop that off. Into our cisterns. Drop the blood off into the blood filter. And then we're heading off. Do some deliveries. Let's see. Not a lot of blood. Oh, I take it back. We are full. That is going to finish up our capacity unless we've got enough. Oh, I have to make the repper. I have to make the repair thing. How are we doing on research? That's the other alternative, is to make, is to unlock the 3 improved blood things. And get those made. So we've got enough to make the blood extractor. We're going to need silicone, which we can make. Complex machinery we've got to get, but I do know where I can get some of that. I'm going to need micro sandwich fiber, which we get from the orange caves. Good evening to those who've joined me. We'll drop off the bits and pieces we just picked up. We need, I think, 100 plant fiber and like 40 iron ore. Yeah, 40 iron ore. I doubt I have the iron ore. Fortunately, conveniently located iron ore. Is that enough? It is. We are back over to the Mentat trainer to close out that particular quest. And then the complex machinery before we go on to the trials of Akal. The 3rd and 4th trials of Akal will be our next objective, and that is good because it gives us our 3rd skill slot. For combat skills. Well, combat and other skills. The first Mentat trainer is up here. So then we will head to the location that's got complex machinery, a place I have farmed frequently in the past. It's like 4 or 5 mobs most of the time. You can usually get 25 to 35 complex machinery out.
Back again.
I brought the items you need.
Here. You know what to do next.
No, I'm not sure. Completed. Yes, yes. I have to plant poison in an NPC area. What rewards did I get? Gimme. Didn't tell me. Yeah. My memory is, I guess, lacking on that particular element. Let's go ahead and heal up. need the complex machinery, and we can make the next iteration of both the blood filtering machine, the blood storage sacks, and the blood draining machine. At the highest tier, the blood draining machine is really impressive in that it looks like a mini gun. And once again, Born to Be Wild just goes through my head. Can't help it. Getting on the sand bike, which is actually a trike, always makes me want to burst out in Get Your Motor Running. Head out on the highway. I will spare you and not sing. That sound was, but it was a little bit on the intimidating side. That's the sound of a distant shy hulud. A not so distant shy hulud. Now where we is headed is over here, this little facility. There are a couple of facilities here. This one is the less populated, and where I go for my quick and easy complex machinery.
Identify yourself.
Alright, he's got a shield, so...
Where's my reinforcement?
Gun comes out. My improvised blood extractor is not in great shape, but it'll do the job for now. We need this, the blue ID card, to get into the area where all of the wonderful goodies are. Oh, nice, a scanner. That's a keeper. Won't have to research and make one of those for a while then, and use this one till it breaks. What it allows you to scan, for instance. Oh. Missed me. Come on, we know you've got a friend or two. They are. Pardon me, I was going to suck your juice. Not the most felicitous of terminology to use, granted. Now, there may or may not be one more inside. And because we can't be sure if they've got a shield or not, knife is the safe choice, as we can just knee attack them and finish them off with a knife. And here is where we get the complex machinery. And This I don't think has it. It only has, because it's a, yeah, it only has the fuel cells. But this third node is a little bit tucked away. So we got 36 out of it. Very nice. Like I said, usually between 25 and 35, we got a bonus. But it is the, to my mind anyway, the quickest way of getting some complex machinery. Quickest, easiest way. At least from where my house is. Your mileage may vary. Don't try this at home, kids. Was there anybody else? Nope. That's all it takes. Alright, we'll grab some more plant fiber. Turn off the shield. Put away the knife. Because we're peaceable around here. Just a fun-loving, sand-wandering dude. I'm heading the wrong way. Better to sort of skirt this edge and then turn north. We're headed the wrong way again. I would like to blame you guys, because clearly it can't be my fault. There we are. I don't know why I get headed the wrong way so often out of doing that. You think a number of times that I've cleared out that place for complex machinery, I'd have it down to a fine art. I have it down to a fine art to get the complex machinery and then get myself lost on the way out, despite the fact it's not much of a way out. It's not my fault. That's all I can say in my defense. It's somebody else's fault. Clearly, not mine. Couldn't be. We also needed... that's right, we needed the fabric from the green mobs. Let's go ahead and drop this stuff off. The complex machinery can go in here. Yeah, better in there. This we're going to want to keep on us, I think, actually. What it does is it scans for resources, but one of the resources it scans for is water. And humans register as water, which means if you scan a building, you'll get sort of a little pop-up of the human figures moving around inside. You'll know how many they are and where they're located. It's very useful. So they're in this large rock outcropping that will build my house, and that also has the outpost. There are two caves which will appear on the map as orange cave icons, and they will both have a couple of mobs and should also have some materials. This is the more difficult of the two, as it tends to have 3 mobs, including one who's a mini gunner. Kind of sucks. Alright, I killed one. fair chunk of damage. When you shoot, your shield comes down, so... Same holds true for them. When they shoot, their shield comes down. Come on. Trying to wait while the heal over time part of the heal kit does its thing. That's 2 dead. For the minigunner, we switch to the knife. And he activated his defenses. I forgot to dump off the blood I was carrying, so I will probably fill up with blood. There we are, full. Alright, that's one. We'll grab the other one. You can see it right there, the little orange cave icon at the top, 130 meters away. And that one's usually got 1 or 2 dudes in it. We'll get some more and should have then the materials we need to make the 2 blood bags. Make the new blood harvesting device and the blood filtering machine. The complex machinery we just got. Go the wrong way? No. Over here a little further? I miss it? I missed it. Missed it, because I'm a dope. There it is. Oh. Does he have a friend? He does have a friend. Shield on? My shield was not on. Alright, we know one of them's got a shield. I don't think the other one does. Can't quite target him. The targeting is not always ideal. Or I can just storm in and face murder bolt. That works too. It's God, this one's got mines on the ground. They don't set them off. You do. I don't think we've got enough. Now we return to our home and see where we're at. Kill that. Put that away. Well, actually, always make sure it's loaded before you put it away. Because it's frustrating to pull it out and get off one shot and then reload. That's not efficient murdering. We're about efficient murdering around here. Then we are off to the 3rd and 4th trials of Akal. I didn't mean to climb up on it. It just looked so sexy standing there. No, that's not it. We need 12 more copper ingots. Did I pick up any copper? I don't think I did. got enough. Iron ingots. Definitely make the max of those we can. As you can see, water is no longer a important, vitally important. We've got a plenty of water. Let's see. Move that there. Move that there for now, and that there for now. These are temporary. I'm just simply reorganizing a little. Because I've added a second floor, and we need to like build a way in and a way out. Yeah, that'll do, I think. Okay. It won't go that direction on account of why. Fine, make it go that direction. I really didn't want to have to. That's fine. It's fine. Okay, we're back to that to move the chemical. Is it gonna fit? Not quite. Of course not. Yes. It hates me. That'll fit at least temporarily. Alright, temporarily will be good enough for temporarily. This is our new lovely and scenic area. Moving the recycler.
Sector weather alert. A large sandstorm is approaching.
That's fine. Sandstorm can come. We're shielded here. It's safe as houses, I believe is the British phrase. Now we want to move the chemical. Yeah, chemical goes upstairs. The ones we use less are the first ones to go upstairs. And the storm is here, I believe. Yes, it is. There's the core of the storm, and it's blowing overhead. You don't want to be out in one of those. It's unfriendly and possibly untidy. Until this finishes, though, we definitely need another water cistern. Let us move the cisterns back. Under the stairs seems like a really good location for those. Out of the way, but available if you need to. There we go. So, before we make the next tier of blood purifier, we want this one to finish purifying the blood that's already in it. The fab. Where do we want the fab? We can move these over. Pardon me, if it's so difficult to keep this stuff tidy. You know, sand, it's irritating and it just gets everywhere. I apologize. I was forced by internet meme law. To make an Anakin reference there. I'm sorry. Alright, so things are now a little better. Right. We can make the blood extractor. Mark 2, so we will. Medium blood sacks, we can only make 1. Oh, we will. And then when this is done processing the blood it currently has, we will delete it. And can we add the new refinery? Small chemical, improved blood purifier. We need a few more silicon blocks. What time is it? Nighttime. Okay, so given that it's nighttime, which is the right time, we want the static compactor. Let me put away all the stuff that needs putting away. That is all of the stuff that needs putting away. We have the static compactor. Which makes getting the silicon a lot easier. The flour sand to make the silicon blocks. Sorry, I think they're actually silicone blocks, which is very different. Silicon. So computer chips are essentially made out of. It's a very nice semiconductor. Alright, that was not necessary, and you must pay for your temerity. Where are you? Come on. Really think you're going to get away? I don't think so. Go ahead. Oops, we're already full on the water. Okay. Let us drink some. Oh, Jesus Christ. Figures. We're back to the UI being a piece of crap, by the way. Because it's a piece of crap. Oh, God, he shot me out of midair. Are you kidding with that? Shooting me out of midair. Come on. Just trying to drink a little water, and these guys. Well, and I'm trying to drive by what they consider to be their turf, I guess. All right. So we're going to be going for flour sand, which frankly isn't showing up right now. Because it's gone. Where did our flour sand go? I have no idea. I honestly have no idea where our flour sand went. I need that. I need some flour sand. Oops. Possible Shai-Hulud sighting. Ah, the flour sand's gone. They stole my flour sand. There's always been flour sand there. I mean, it even looks like it's got the sort of glowy, foggy look over there. That is consistent with flower sand. But when I look... all I see is Shai-Hulud over there. Well, I will have to keep my eyes open for flower sand. Well, we are headed to the west, and there are no flower sand fields over there. Is there anything else we need to drop off? Yeah, we should drop off the bits and pieces we got from the stupids who attacked me. Okay, that looks like flower sand too. That's not a normal spawn place for flower sand, but it sure as hell looks like it's flower sand. Yeah, it definitely is. At least I assume it is. Let's find out. Yeah, it is. All right. Oh. I didn't arrange my stuff in quite the right way, so... we need the static compactor in the 7th spot. 6th spot. Wow, the blood extractor is just about to give up the ghost. Oh, the sun's coming. That's two unpleasant factors for us to keep in mind. So our objective is to get 3 piles out, maybe. Come on. Gimme, gimme, gimme. I didn't get on in time to avoid getting heat strokes, but it's not too bad. We got a good amount. Let's see, we got the white smoke again, which is consistent with it. So I'm not sure exactly what the deal was there, but we got a bunch. So. Oh, sorry, my bad. Totally my bad. The chemical warfare. That's not the chemical. Chemical's upstairs. Where you moved it, you big goober. I'm a big goober. The chem is off. We need to turn that one off. And the chem back on. Wow, we have enough to make 3 cobalt paste. Not very much. Make 56, is that right? It is. So let's make 55. You may wonder why I'm making 55 instead of the max. It's because I want some left in the storage so that I can just F-drop it like this, which I can't do right now because I emptied it out. So if I'd run up and hit F, it all would have gone into that spot. So I screwed up and I feel shame. That's all I can say. All right, that's cooking. Refinery made 50 iron. We still have a little bit of copper left over. Okay, that's that, and that's that. We could make 2 steel ingots. That's the iron ingot. The copper as well. Wait, we're empty on copper. We are empty on copper. Okay. I think we've got everything. No, we made the blood sack and the new extractor. New extractor goes there. We can replace one of our bags with a larger bag because Papa's got a brand new bag. So those can be recycled later. For now, they can go into for later batch. And far as, all right, the blood thing is actually still filtering, so we can't spin up the new one just yet. When we do, we'll probably have to add the second generator. Okay, so our next goal is 3 and 4 of the trials of Akal. Those are a long ways away to the west. And the fourth one in particular we want to get to because the fourth one gives us access to a third skill at the bottom of the screen for combat skills, basically. Where we currently have the Shigarwire Claw, which also has a combat use. They respawned again. And the Flying Knee Kick Murder. Alright, now for here, this crossing, we need to check where we are. We can cross pretty much straight across. We don't want to hit that or that. Those are troublesome sand spots. They are either quicksand, which is like quicksand in the movies, not good, or drum sand, which is sand that makes a loud noise when you step on it or cross it, and it acts like a dinner bell for Shia. He does his impersonation of the big shark guy in Suicide Squad. Goes, Om-noms? Alright, we're going to work our way across because the third trial's here, the fourth is right up there. But you can't do the fourth until you do the third. As my first character discovered the fourth before he discovered the third. And he had to go back and do the fourth. I mean, at least I knew where everything was. I think the third trial actually is sort of an... Whoops, he's going to shoot. I know they're going to shoot. So intelligent. That's not being very helpful. You had a friend. Oh, there they are. My new and improved blood-sucking machine. Getting its first warm-up action. Welcome to the team. I hope we've got, like, a loot bucket here. I'll be upset if we do not. I am upset. There's the bike. Which I insist on continuing to report is actually a trike, not a bike. It just strikes me as being inherently intellectually dishonest to pretend that it's actually a bike. We will avoid more human entanglements by skipping around to the outside, I think. Bonk. There, I think, and then to the north. It's one of the things that when you get the ornithopter, everything just gets so much simpler. Your entire life gets simpler. Probably across and then up, so head to there where you should be fine. Really? Did I get that right? I guess I did. Here we go! But anytime you're crossing the open desert, it's always a little bit butthole clenching. At least it is for me. Alright, in this case, we go right to there. We should be able to split the difference between those two sand fields. And we can get some armor plating off of this thing. It's the easiest way to get armor plating is off these, and Holtzman actuators off of wrecked ornithopters. That should do it. Yep. All right. We're here, I think. We'll continue around this rock. Well, let's take a quick peek at the third trial of Akal, the map. Well, I'm trying to memorize. We've got like 3 rocks along the top and then a long flat area. I think it's over there. I've done it like 5 times, and yet I'm still not sure. I think it's like up here. Oh, did I set that up correctly? I think I did. Yeah, I think we're safe going straight across from here. Like I said, it is a bit nerve-wracking. One of the things they've done well is make Shai-Hulud scary. Now, I've still only died to Shai-Hulud once, and it was intentional. But he scared the wee-wee out of me more than once, that's for sure. I was doing a, when they opened the beta server, I think, I was doing sort of an introduction to the game to anyone who was playing or wanted to play. And so I took off all of my stuff just before I hopped in the vehicle to head north out of Haggard Basin South into Haggard Basin proper. Took off all of my stuff and ran around just outside my house until Shai-Hulud gulped me up. You get close enough, it pops up on the map, and it hasn't done that yet. don't think it's that far north. Where you've got the big flat rock. Let me... Para west of the Great Hammer of Mirzabah. A table of stone for God's feast. Well, that certainly does look like that, doesn't it? Is that due west of Mirzabah? Yes, it is. Okay, we have to go further north. I think that's a player house. Pretty sure. Looks like it. We definitely don't want to go right over that. Where's the table? It was over there. How far are we talking? How about we head to about there and see how close we can get? Flower sand up, and there's Shai Hulud, just trying his very best to loosen up my bowels. It does look like we are... So we go to here, and then turn southwest. Not dangerous at all. Are we clear? Not quite. Should be clear now. Heading due west. Not quite. Are we clear now? We are. Should be clear now. We had it the whole way. I was never concerned. I wet myself. Not really. As far as you know. Ah, okay, yeah, so this is the big flat. Raised rocks in the big flat, so it should be on the northern edge. It's a marvelous night for a moon dance. Shai Hulud. Scaring the neighbors again. It hasn't shown up yet. Why have you not shown up yet? Journey, Tortralo Akal. Yeah, it's supposed to be right about here. Alright, well, we'll get off the bike, put it away, turn on the shield just in case. Just showed up, I think. Yeah, it just popped up. Oh, no, there's a cave. Is this the third trial of Akal? I think it is. Pretty sure. Cave of the Lost Pilgrim. Pretty sure it's in here. But there may also be baddies in here. That one got shields. That one's got a minigun. Got him. No problem. You know, except for all the guns and stuff. I'm almost full on blood, too. Yeah, we're full. Minigunners. We hate them so much. Ooh. I will drink their water. If they had milkshakes, I'd drink that instead. But I think this has been looted and destroyed. So we...
Another altar destroyed by the Emperor's zealous dogs. So much wasted in the pursuit of this pogrom. So much lost. This altar seemed to depict Fremen being separated from their families. Enslaved? I could only decipher a few words. Slave cribs, Hajj, and oddly enough, the name of a planet. Bela Tigise.
And that is the third trial of Akal complete. Next up is the fourth. And that takes us... I didn't hear the chirping before that blew up. They shouldn't have respawned. We should have a free road out. The fourth trial of Akal is the hammer itself. Right there. But we can't go straight there because desert reasons. Worms. We have worm signs such as God himself has never seen. So we're headed all the way over to here. But that means we've got to pick our way across. So we're actually going to head to here. Always turn off your shields when you're near the sand, boys and girls. Shia-Lud is crabby enough on his own, you don't want to piss him off intentionally. That's just never going to turn out well. Nice auroras we have tonight. Shia just tootling around on his own. Just living his best life, you know. Wish we could drop multiple markers, but sadly it is not to be. Well, that's about 200, and then we're going to want to turn just a tick north of east. Oh, stop. And a tick north of east. Oh, crap. Freaking Sardaukar. They killed me earlier. I was not too happy about that. Clear. We are clear of any sand issues. Not clear of them yet. If they were to freeze me out here on the sand, I think Shai-Hulud would have me for dinner. What they do is, if you get caught in their searchlights, they freeze you for 10 or 20 seconds, and they drop a bunch of mercs to kill you. And earlier when I died, for the first time on this character, so far only time on this character, the mercs absolutely fucking annihilated me. I was probably frozen for longer than it took them to kill me. Once I was unfrozen, I started running, got brapped for all of my shield and some of my life, got frozen and brapped for the rest of my life. Was not a fan. 0 out of 10. Oh, not 0 out of 10. I mean, it could have been worse. They could have frozen me and I'd gotten eaten by Shai-Hulud, and that would have destroyed all my gear, too. So, could have been worse. But I've run from the mercs in the past successfully every single time. It's the first time the mercs have ever killed me. So I don't know if I just got unlucky or they buffed the mercs. Buffing the mercs would not be a completely bad idea, because in the past they were relatively easy to outrun, obviously, because I outrun them a bunch. But also, you know, more better equipped characters, better kitted out characters would intentionally get themselves in the spotlight to draw in the mercs to kill them for their delicious bodily juices. Excuse me. Hey, corpse stills. Not even once. All right. All right. Not a whole lot of space left in the old inventory. I should say not a whole lot of spaces. There's a lot of volume space. If you're not familiar, there are two different limitations on your inventory. One is items and stacks of items at 35, basically 35 inventory spots. And the second is inventory volume, which is 175 of volume of stuff, which in essence is space or weight. Probably weight would be a better choice than volume, but they went with volume, so who am I to quibble? We need to basically head along to head towards the Hammerhead. Of Mirzabah. Let's see. A lot of times climbing is picking a location where you have rest spots to get your stamina back up after you have climbed as far as you can. Not sure I got one of those right here. We do not. Maybe there. Well, we had one there, but it didn't stick. All right, stamina is back up. That was not great. Sometimes you will bounce off of things, and that can make it very difficult. Because by bouncing off, you can't grab back onto the rock and climb. This looks like it may be a spot where we can... Yep. And once again, because we did the bounce thing, it is irksome. I will not deny. We have to try a different location. So, yeah, well, that had a nice little ledge. I liked that. That's a pretty good looking ledge. Not quite good enough. How about over there? Probably not. We're about to drop. There we are, dropping again. So sometimes going vertical is kind of a pain in the ass. Now, if I had the full suspensor belt, it would be no problem. I don't. No, no, no. There we go. We're getting there, I think. No, don't do it. Thank you for not doing it. Where were we? We were there. I think we can get up to this next level, although not by a lot. All right. That was easy. First time. I was going to say deathless, but it was deathless. I didn't die. And we have to find sort of the starting point. There's more of this kind of stuff in store, but it's intentional and designed. I think this is it. I think this is where we need to be. We'll eventually reach a cave, and then there's the fourth trial in there, but then there's also a passage up to the very top. You do have to be careful because getting down is not a guaranteed thing, because if you just jump, the suspensor belt will go off and it'll run out of power before you get to the bottom, which will lead to a painfully brief period of deceleration and then death. And we're out of the sun. Can we get up there? Barely. Let's see. Trying to find sort of the starting spot for the It's not really a climbing puzzle. It's pretty straightforward once you find the starting spot. If I keep going up, sooner or later I'll intersect with the path. Maybe... Nope, not yet. Let's check the journey, 4th trial. The entry is almost exactly where we are. It's right here. Yeah, that's it, actually. That was correct. It's like I should be there. Am I there yet? Right around the corner. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm there then. Okay. So we're just gonna climb and use our wonderful grappling hook. I don't know if this would be possible if you didn't have the grappling hook. I don't think so. My water level is low. I will drink from my catch pockets. Lens-flavored humanity. Fortunately, I'm in excellent condition, so this sort of climb is just invigorating. We have dead bodies. We're going to be kind enough to make donations to the cause, and who am I to say no? I'm going to have to end up throwing some of this stuff out because we actually get important items. We don't need iron ore. Plenty of fuel cells. We definitely don't need salvaged metal. Unless we are short on bullets. How's our bullets coming? We're a little short on bullets. So, we'll make some bullets. Light darts, technically. And we'll drop the rest of the salvaged metal. I don't think there's any fighting here. I don't remember there being any. All right, that is the 4th trial. That is the way up to the roof. We may actually have to do some tripping balls here, though. I think we do. Pardon me. Don't do drugs, kids, okay? Dude. Nah. I'm full on blood. But I've also full on water, so... Always drink the stuff out of your catch pockets first to make room for more stuff to go into your catch pockets. Then any water you're carrying. Also, you can get a significant buff to your stamina if you're fully hydrated and have taken the passive ability. It's like 15% extra stamina, which is significant. I don't remember which trial this is. I think this is the one where you've got to avoid like getting killed by sand.
Honor the creator. Even
So you've got to find the still tents and hide in them momentarily. No, it's not. It's the one where we have to fight a bunch of times. I now. But we're going to get different attack skills than we normally have. I heard a shwip. Where'd he come from? There he is. Parry. Dead. Now, mind you, I'm tripping balls, so keep that in mind. Hey, asshole. Never had that much trouble with one of these dream dudes before. Of course, on the other hand, my memory is that I'm supposed to already have my attack skills. Okay, now that was horse shit. I blocked. I think now I get the skills. Basically, in the dream here, they kill you, or they knock you down, and then you get given the skills, and you learn about prescience, which is what the spice gives you. Basically, makes you into a complete badass. And now we've got our skills. Knee to the face, knife to the face. Shy Halud. Hi, how you doing, Big Daddy? God damn it. Sometimes the combat feels really good in this game, and other times it feels clunky as hell. And there's no great way of determining which is going to be which for any given fight. Okay, that sounded like it was from my left. What the problem I think is it's just feeling a little bit like I mentioned earlier. That way. When I trigger the scanner on the cutter ray, it feels like there's a tick, like a quarter of a second pause before it goes off. And that's why I was having trouble there, I think, blocking, because there were times where I was certain I had to block, and it didn't block. So I may just have delay on my end, and that's messing with me. Or possibly it's the Duke, using his hacker friends to slow down my reaction time in my game. It's probably the Duke.
How do we honor the Creator?
The Dude, sorry, not the Duke. Although you're also the Duke. You're Duke Dude.
We fight.
Okay, yes, it's meaningful, I know. There we go. So, this should open now the third skill. I understand I'm too powerful and you had to nerf me. It's my own fault for being so goddamned good at games. I know. I know. It's a burden for me. But one I'm proud to carry out to the masses. The unwashed masses. You know, you guys. The hoi polloi. I'm digging myself a hole right now. Oh man, I should not have had that last jug of tequila. So you'll note the Z bar at the bottom is lit up. That means I have the prescience now. I can press Z and go into the prescient state. If I run into a tough fight and murder everyone. Ish. We will put the Eye of the Storm. Is that the big spinny one? I think it is, right? Right? Yeah, we'll put that one there. Spice experience. I'm experiencing the effect of spice. Basically, I am loaded to the gills on spice. After you go through the prescient state, you have spice withdrawal, and for some length of time you can't gain the benefit of spice again. There's like, oh, that was a failure. Again. That was a little bit better. So there's a chest down here, and then more stuff available once you get to the very top of the hammer. And these aren't the hammer. We didn't hit that yet, did we? No, I don't think so. Up here? Yeah, this is the first chest. We definitely want those, and we'll take that for deconstruction, but we may end up dumping it if we get more goodies up top and don't have room for all of it. Ladies and gentlemen, the top of the hammer. Alright, we will cut up this because it gives us Holtzman actuators, crafting item we don't have many of. Basically, the best way of getting those is carving up crashed ornithopters. There are a fair number of those, actually, in the area just to the north of the Harkonnen sort of mini base that is near the anvil. Right. What we do now is we make sure we drop all of the heavy scrap metal, and we see that over here we have the other chest. We definitely want that and that. And those. Are we full? We're almost full. We don't need iron ore and we don't need a few fuel cells. I'm pretty sure that's all that's up here. I'm going to do a quick lap. Because I've been known to be wrong about things. Never on stream, of course. On stream, just the facts, man. Just the facts. No lies, no bullshit. Except that right there where I said no lies and no bullshit. That was bullshit. And a lie. But other than that, very few lies and little bullshit. That's not true either. Never mind. Yeah, lies and bullshit. Plenty of both. But we are at the top of the hammer. Mirzabah, as it's known. And now comes the tricky bit. Getting down without dying. Sounds like that should be easy. Right? Just, you've got, a suspensor belt. And what could possibly go wrong? And the answer is death. So I'm going to aim for that little spire there. You'll note my stamina in the lower left is decreasing. We are about 2/3. And now we wait for it to recover, and now we should be able to make it without dying. I have now said that. We will now have another affirmation of my no bullshit claim. I am 1,219 meters from home. The first time I jumped off of the hammer's head, I ran out of power probably like 30 or 40 feet above the ground. But I really thought I was going to die. But there's the station. The lovely station.
Identify yourself.
Identify myself. I'm the guy who's running away. You can't miss me. I'm the guy who's running away. Oop. Oh, these aren't hostile?
Be
That's
you
unexpected.
flesh, or be you another spice mirage. Either way, I will speak with you and glean what revelations there are to glean.
Just another mirage, I'm afraid. Tempting, but no.
Flesh is real. Illusion is also real. But I take it you meant that you are of flesh and substance. I will take you at your word. Welcome.
Okay.
Keep your weapons lowered, if you please. I am Ishmar, and I travel with these kind souls before you. We are on a pilgrimage.
That's nice.
You've nothing to fear from us.
I have no turkey
We are on an
for your
inward
pilgrimage.
journey, a dark night of the soul that ends in the dawn of revelation.
Wow, really busting out the
welcome
dark night of
and
the
rest
soul cliche. Do you have any tasks that need doing?
As you well know, death is a constant companion in these wastes.
Yeah.
Some of our number have been claimed by the desert. May they find peace.
It says, may they find
to guide
rest.
them on their eternal pilgrimage, we place totems at certain locations in the Haga Basin. Would you help us in this sacred endeavor?
I'm thinking maybe this is a new quest, because certainly I've never seen it before.
Dalvia journeyed from Arson to join
I have
our
come
pilgrimage.
from the hammer
While
countless
scaling
times.
a cliff, she suffered a bad
Okay,
fall
not countless, like 5.
and passed away in our camp 5 days later.
Okay.
We
That'll
would
do.
take it as a great kindness if her totem was placed high, where it can overlook the basin as the sun rises and sets.
If you
Dalvia
asked
deserves
this
no
of me
less.
5 minutes ago, I'd be on top of the goddamn hammer.
Our thanks. Dalvia was beloved by all. Her loss was difficult. Now she journeys where we cannot. safe home, dear friend.
Okay. I have accepted the totem. Hi guys, how you doing? Don't suppose you could teach me how to make still tents. Could you? That'd be helpful. I'd like that. So we just want to head straight across. Like that there. And avoid any problematic sand that might be out there. Always double check. The red spots are the problematic sand. They will be either quicksand, which is like movie quicksand, in other words, bad. Oh, there's Big Daddy right behind me. The other alternative, if it's not quicksand, is drum sand, which is very, very noisy if you walk or drive a car across it, and it rings the dinner bell for Shai Hulud. So you do not want to cross them. Does it actually say? I think if you get close enough to it, you'll be able to, it'll tell you if it's drum sand or quicksand. Neither one is good. I've been in quicksand like 4 times, 5 times. I have not died or lost a vehicle to it yet, but I've come close. How we doing? It's water harvesting time if we can. Oh, stop. Eek. Screeches to a halt. Let's see. Okay, good. That is empty. Our water capacity has space. We will deposit all water. We got some other chores to do when we get back. Oh, that's a mistake. We can't get through that. We will now swap over to the scythe. Fly from the scythe. No. It's optimal dew harvesting time, and that is 500. That's half a liter right there already. We have filled 1.5 liters. Did we leave any nodes unharvested here? Yep. And we got a little bit more here, and 1 more whack should do it. Yep, we are full. That's 2.5 liters, just that fast. That's why really the first thing you want once you get a small number of silicon blocks is you want to make sure you get the water harvester. The dew harvester. Deposit all water. Let's see if we can grab a little bit more before time runs out. Come on, open. Yeah, I actually could build steps. That's not a bad idea. Actually, I might or might not be able, depending on whether or not that is inside my sub-thief. For instance, I had to kind of... we're still optimal, so we're still going to get a good amount of water. I had to arrange my stairs in a place I didn't want them to be, and my door, because I wasn't careful enough in starting my house inside the boundaries. All right, we got all we could out of this as the sun is about to rise. And so these are no longer harvestable. How much more did we get? We got another liter, basically. So we got 3.5 liters there in a couple of minutes. That's why the dew harvester is so important. At least until you get the corpse still. The corpse still is... It takes an hour to completely drain a body and produces, like, I think the first one produces 4 liters? 6 liters? I'm not sure. A lot. And then the larger one, I think, gets you like 14 liters. So it might be 8 liters and 14 liters. I'm going to AFK a sec and refill my cup. And after all, you're going to have a lot of bodies. Granted, they're heavy. But you can like go out. By that time, you'll probably have your buggy. You can go out in your buggy. Get out. Kill dudes. Take a dude. Put him in the trunk for the buggy. Pick up the other dude. Put him in the trunk for the buggy. Get back in the buggy and repeat until the buggy is full. Not only blood and bodies. Well, it's both in... it's canon from the books. They put the bodies in the death stills. You see it in the movie, too. They don't do it to the Harkonnen bodies because the Harkonnen bodies are filled with chemicals. This time, I will remember to push the AFK button. Okay, so this is now empty of blood, correct? Correct. Right, the blood purifier... 13,000, right, so we should be able to simply delete the blood purifier now. Demolish, you know. And make the secondary... Am I still missing? What am I missing? That's a small chemical. Ah, there we are. The improved blood purifier. Ah. It has no power. Right. We want that disabled. All right, we have power again. Now we need, I think, a second generator. All right, fine. We'll have a second generator since people seem to think we need one. Fine. Whatever. Oh, I guess it's running into the strut there. For this particular wall model has those little things sticking out. Nice cosmetic, but also can block you putting stuff down on the ground. How about we come back over here? We drop that. How many do we have in here right now? It currently has 304. That's 304 hours of energy. $304 to 80, move 40 over, and we'll have 260 in both. $264, 261. So 260 hours, a little over 10 days. We can confirm that by coming over here, looking here. 11 days. Alrighty. Let us put away the things that we got from Mirzabah and elsewhere. Were we out of the micro fabric? We must have been. Micro sandwich fabric? Yeah, we were. Nope, not there. There? Yeah, we were. Okay, that explains why it didn't auto-deposit. It didn't know where to auto-deposit. We have the Buoyant Reaper Mark III, which is called buoyant because it makes me so happy at the prospect. It uses water, it uses steel, EMF generators, silicone blocks, and spice-infused steel dust. Spice-infused steel dust is pretty high level. But these other things we can just salvage. So we want to salvage the standard Kinjal and the two Kirab parts, one light, one heavy. Oh, we'll go ahead and turn it back on. Fine, you're enabled. Did we also loot a power pack? We did. Okay. I didn't remember looting the power pack Mark II, but yeah, we did. Okay. Power pack Mark II. Kirab. We want to keep the handheld resource scanner because that's actually usable. It take a lot of use for that to stop working. And we pick up these things and put them away. Put them away. Put them away now. What was there that we accidentally just put away? Oh, that was the, yeah, we don't need that anymore. We want to keep that. Keep that for making additional bandages out of. Sorry, medkits. We don't need to keep the static compactor with us unless we're making more, or gathering more, I should say, of the silicon makings, the flour sand, or later spice. We'll go ahead and research that. Okay. All right, so there's the fourth trial. There was the third trial. We did want to make another bag, didn't we? Oh, I don't think I deposited the blood. Did I? I didn't. I powered this off. General settings enabled. Deposit all blood. 12,000 milliliters. That's 12 liters of blood. And now we get 40% of the water out of it, I believe. So that's almost 5 liters of water. Do I have the materials for a second of the blood sacks? No, we need 2 more micro sandwich fabrics. Fortunately, I know where we can get those. Fortunately for me, unfortunate for the ones I'm going to shoot. That's life, you know. Fortunate for some, unfortunate for others. Don't shoot. No shoot. I think it's over here. Terrible driving. What can I say? If you spice, don't drive. If you drive, don't spice. That rock jumped out in front of me. You saw it. You are my witnesses. Totally not my fault. That was aggressive rocking. You gonna come running? Oh, you're gonna shoot? That's welcome. Is there another one in there? No, okay, it's just the backpack. We'll met ourselves up. There's the other one. Ooh, I'm sucking his blood out through his foot. That's gotta sting. Now we'll hit the other one. This is what I mean. Another one of the advantages to being close to the trade post is there's these 2 orange caves that are just waiting for you to come and harvest their dudes for blood and their box for the orange crafting materials. Frankly, I'm not a huge fan of the fact that the orange materials only have come from the orange location and the blue only come from the blue location and the green only come from the green location. So, caves, testing stations, and shipwrecks. Yes, yes, I set off your stupid mine again. I know. I get 2,000 mils instead of 1,000 mils from each victim now. That I have a more effective exsanguination tool. Sounds so much sexier when you say it that way. As opposed to being, you know, well, this here, this is my mechanical blood sucker. Yeah, that just doesn't quite ring the way that this is my high-tech exsanguination device. One of them sounds cool and the other not. I'm working on something. I'm considering something. I think that's the one I want. That is the roof hatch. That is the one I want. So, we go to demolish. We demolish. We go to build. We build the roof hatch. This will allow us now, as an entry method, to just whoop ourselves onto the roof and come in through the hatch instead of running around to the doorway. Ha ha! Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to thank my family, my friends, those of you who've believed in me, most especially the dude. You are the wind beneath my wings. We'll drink our lens water. We'll drop off our goodies. Nothing went in there. Nothing went in there. Blade parts and gun parts went in there. And that got the orange items and the armor plating. So I think we now have enough to make that second blood. Oh, first of all, drop the blood into Los Blood Machino. Yep. So we can now get the second medium blood sac. As I believe that'll allow us to carry like 9 meters or 9 liters of blood, I think, each. So we'll be carrying 18 liters of blood. We'll be able to kill 9 dudes and suck 2,000 milliliters out of each. I tent my fingers and smile my evilest smile. Don't clip that. We have 2 mediums. Vampire. Blood for days. Although I always, the vampire, it's kind of, yeah, I need the blood, but it's also at least as much the hunt and the weakness of the victim and me draining away their very life essence to keep my undeath rolling. We need to deconstruct the other. I don't assume we're going to get much out of this. That's the medium. We don't want to carve up the mediums. We want to destroy the small. Thank you. Yeah, nothing of significance came out of that. right. Where are we? Right now, we are at night. I don't think we have enough copper to build another cistern. This UI is... It's an abomination under the eyes of the Lord. No, we need a good chunk more copper. Home base. That is copper ore. There should be copper ore right over here then. Like, say, this big node of blue copper ore. No, wrong button. Wrong button. Right button. That pause seemed to have vanished. The pause I'd been talking about. Where... Oh. Where I was hitting the right click to scan and there was a brief pause for like a quarter of a second. Doesn't seem to be there anymore. Yeah, it's pretty much instant now. Okay, good. So your hacker men did their work. Nope, that was longer again. Your hacker men are still doing their job. I hope you're paying. How much copper ore can we make into copper? Well, we could make all of it almost into copper. Let's see. 18. I don't think that's quite enough. Yeah. I'm glad to help. You know, if reminding helps you, make sure that they get their money so that they can continue to hackerman against me and for you. I wouldn't want you to make that, you know, have that go wrong on you. That wouldn't be fair at all. I know every time that I have contracted with a hacker man, they don't like it if you don't pay your bills. So. Now, hacker manning is not as easy as it might seem to many people. As an actual computer scientist, TM, with a degree and everything, hacker manning, not that easy. That's more iron, isn't it? I will tell you that almost all of the password advice you've probably given in your life is bad. Especially if it's corporate requirements. Well, here at Really Large Corporation Incorporated, we require you to change your password every 4 weeks. It has to be at least 15 characters long, have a letter, a capital letter, a number, a special symbol, not include any consecutive 2 numbers, letters, or anything that are the same. And if you fail to enter it once, it's a 5-minute lockout. Okay. Have fun. But I will tell you that when I was working at a very large corporation, which will remain nameless, that's my name tag. As a security measure, mind you, we took the password files of our mainframe computers. We had access to unsalted, unobscured passwords. So we had access to the encrypted passwords, not the plain text passwords, the encrypted passwords. And we used spare cycles on our Cray supercomputer to crack our own password files and then notify people that we had cracked their password. Please change it to our not particularly draconian requirements. Our requirements were not excessive. They were not long passwords. We just wanted them to be, because we'd taken a list of very common passwords and all we'd done is encrypt them and compare them. So if we matched yours, that meant we had hacked yours, and we let people know. I will note, my password got cracked at that time. Mine was one of them that got cracked. But we were using the extra spare cycles on one of the most powerful computers in the world, just to be able to tell people, yeah, your password, you know what it is, password 123, is not acceptable. We have cracked it. Please be aware of this. Change your password to something a little more original. We had about a 40% hit rate, I think, if memory serves. That's been years, so might have been less, but I think it was about 40% on a list of a few thousand of the most common passwords. Just be aware, boys and girls. The hackermans are going to get you. Look at that. We are disgustingly rich. Obnoxiously rich. Not all that rich, really. But maybe I should make a trip to one of the cities. 123, 123, 123 is your fave? It's 9 characters. It's on the list. I'm sure it's on the list. But I'm sure that's not your actual password, so that's fine. Travel to a trade post, reach a settlement. Yes, I do have a quest for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all my monies with me and see if I can buy an overpowered sniper rifle. Because the sniper rifles make everything fun and delicious. Well, you know, on the way there, I can certainly fill up my water jugs. It is optimal time again. No reason not to do it. It's going to take a minute. More water is always good. It's full. I can now drink some. I don't use a password manager. My memory is good enough that I have some series of passwords and I change them in a way that I know. Given each source, or each destination, I should say. Now, I had a friend who his method for doing it was very simple, but worked very, very well. He was a musician, and he had a single piece of music, simple music, that he would play, and he would remember the passwords based on where his I don't remember, either the pinky or the fingers, the index fingers went. And so he would just put this hand where it needed to be on the keyboard and this hand where it needed to be, and he'd play the music as if he was at the piano. And that was his passwords. So he would have, for a particular site, he would write down the reminder so he would remember. So it might be, say, 3 and N. And he would put his pinky on the 3, his left pinky on the 3, and his right pinky on the N, and he'd play the music as if he were at the piano, and that would be the keyboard, or be the password. Yeah, exactly. Biometric, basically a biometric password. I've never seen anyone else do anything like that. I mean, you could do the same thing with a regular password, say magnifying lens, and you would just remember, where to put your hand in different locations. Although that's a little tougher. You'd want to make sure it basically all stayed, say, on the home row. Okay, we are going to go to one of the larger settlements.
Can I fly you somewhere today?
I want you to fly me somewhere.
Music to my ears. Where do you want to go?
We're going to want to eventually go to Arakeen because we are going to be Arrakis. So let's go to Harko Village now and visit that.
Well, the Harkonnens love their docking fees, so that's going to cost a little extra.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
So we're going to the Harkonnen capital, as it were, on Arrakis. Harko Village. They're currently rebuilding the former capital of New Carthag. The new Carthag. The old Carthag got destroyed in a shield laser confrontation. If you're not familiar with it, in the Dune universe, the shields you see people wearing, there are lasers. The shields stop bullets, but if a shield hits a laser, they both explode in what is described as a near nuclear explosion. So a big shield with a big laser, you would get an enormous explosion, and that's what happened in destroyed Carthag. In this version of the Dune universe. There it is, after the destruction of Carthag by a shield lasgun contact. I believe lasguns are banned. As you can tell, Harko Village, a lovely, shiny, welcoming place. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. So we are going to poke our head into the Imperial Enclave here. And pay any taxes we have. Not sure they're due yet. I don't think they're due yet, even though we have been generating some need.
Welcome, fellow citizen.
No, I am wrong. I have a small amount of tax. All right, I paid off the tax. Email is extremely unique and made it on day one. Then Microsoft opened Hotmail domain. The amount of hacking tries you received was absolutely absurd. You finally gave up and had to change it to something else. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Unfortunately. Now this is the bank.
Welcome. Would you like to deposit or withdraw Solaris?
They want me to
How much
deposit. I think I've got a
Solaris would you
quest to
like to
deposit 200. So I will deposit 1,000. No, we'll make it 25. No, yeah, 1,000 should do. Yep, there it is, leveled up. Now I'm going to go over here to the auction house and see if we might have anything in the way of a delicious sniper rifle. If we lower the price, let's see. We're just going to scroll down and hope to get lucky. Illa's regret. Okay, that's a burst. It doesn't look like it. Looks like we're out of luck. Looks like this auction house. It's not. Yes, these are listed by real people. Yeah, there's no spit dart available, no adept, no sniper rifles of any kind. It seems like. That's disappointing. I'm disappointed. The market, I think, was set up to fail, unfortunately, for this game. Now, every server is broken up into 25 sieges. And, unfortunately, the auction houses are all siege local. So that means every server has 1/25 of the people in each, I assume, in each siege, right? So it's possible that all of these are for the server, not for the siege. I'm dubious. What they really need to do is they need to unify the auction house across all of the server locations. Yeah, I don't know. I can understand the reason why. You want, because of PvP, at least, you want it to be no more than server-wide. So if one group of PvP players is, dominating, that they can then also dominate the market. You want them to be able to dominate to encourage PvP, as an example. But realistically, if this is all the weapons on your auction house, whether it's for the siege or the server, it's not enough. So if it's only at the siege level, it needs to be server-wide, 25 sieges. If it's on the server and all 25 sieges, it needs to be wider and it needs to be regional. So it needs to be a cluster for, I think it's West Coast, East Coast. I think there might be one in Chicago as well. Basically, every localized cluster needs to share the auction house. You need, to have an active, thriving, player-driven economy, you absolutely have to have a lot of players accessing it. And we don't. Whether it's siege, server, or even cluster, the number of players who are partaking has never been high enough on the entire time I've been playing, which was since the head start. Let's see. Wow, I could get the adept sword, which is a whole lot more damage, but it's not going to last very long. It's 500. That's an enormous amount of damage, though. Because the artisan sword is like 18. My Caliph's Drinker, which I'm currently using, is 11. That's 59. Don't know how long it's going to last, but it's going to hit so much harder. And the ranged weapons, was there anything in here? The Gerda is a shotgun, I believe. It fires 18 per shot, 18 rounds, and so it does an enormous amount of damage at very short range. But if it's at short range, I really don't need it. So I think we will just grab the one thing we bought. Mind you, of New World, the whole idea of server-dependent gameplay loop is very not smart idea and bound to fail. I think, especially if you're looking at a large-scale PvP component to your game, which was certainly the case while they were designing New World. I mean, that was their intent, was for New World to have a very, very large PvP component initially. Turned out that wasn't going to work for them, and they changed it, but a lot of the base technology was in place. And so they had localized bank, which makes sense in a purely player-driven economy, that you want every character to have a separate bank in every location, just like the real world. But they realized pretty quickly that that wasn't just practical for game purposes, and then they unified them so that you could move items from one stash to another. They didn't unify them and give you a single large stash. They did allow you to move items from one stash to another, in essence making them function like one big stash. Again, that's one of those, reality is great, but it doesn't necessarily make for good gaming. And the same thing, I think, for the economy here. That they created a system assuming the way the economy was going to work, and it isn't working that way, and they haven't fixed it.
Can I fly you somewhere today?
Yes, yes, yes.
Music to my ears.
Back to
Basin is a pretty
Hagabasin.
big place.
Back to the
But you never-
anvil.
I never miss the chance. Let's move.
I mean, I got into the beta. It might even still have been in alpha when I got in for New World. And a lot of times you'll see people complaining that the Care Bears killed New World's PvP when it was into the design stage. And that is utter bullshit. What happened was they set it up with a series of measures to try and encourage players not ganking, not killing low-level characters, you know, the things we all hate about PvP games. What they found was from their early tests, the ones where I was around for, they saw the heat maps of where characters were dying, and almost without exception, they were dying just outside settlements, and they were getting ganked by more powerful characters. Exactly what they had set up their system to not encourage. It didn't matter. The players are always going to do what the players want to do. And in this case, on a PvP server, most of them don't care about consequences. They just want to gank people. Shouldn't say most. A very large proportion of the PvP community doesn't care about whether it's advantageous or not to them. They just want to grief people. And that's what they saw. They saw that all of their carefully designed measures had zero effect on the actual behavior of the players. And despite every MMO ever with a PvP component trying to make it so that it wouldn't be a gank fest and you wouldn't have high-level characters killing low-level characters and you wouldn't have groups of a dozen people hunting down singles and twos, no company, no game has ever given good enough motivation to prevent the players from doing exactly what they always do in a PvP server. It sucks, but the Care Bears, as they call them, didn't kill the PvP architecture for New World. It was the gankers and the griefers who did that. It turns out that PvPers' worst enemies aren't the Care Bears. It's other PvPers who play in a way that is toxic. Whee! Touchdown, the crowd goes wild. Oh, look. Who needs a door when I've got a hole in the ceiling? In all games, yeah, but some games are too big to fail. Not anymore. I mean, I have no idea how big a thing PvP is, say, in WoW. But it's never been a huge deal. They tried. I was in the beta for WoW when they kept trying different PvP things to try and discourage ganking. They gave up. Which is why I left my first server in WoW. Why are they chasing PvP? They want to try to appeal to as many players as possible. So that includes PvPers. But I think you're correct in the question. I think the changes in the gaming landscape make it so that PvPers are a far smaller component of the MMO player base than they used to be. PvPers are far more likely to chase either first-person shooters and MOBAs. They skimmed a lot of the PvP community, especially MOBAs, so that it's no longer as large a component of the player base as it used to be. You know, a game like Dark Age of Camelot was PvP focused, and it had a very healthy, continuous player base for years. PvP focus. And that was where they aimed the game. But since then, every attempt to make a PvP focused MMORPG has failed. Because there are too many MMO players for whom PvP isn't just something they don't want to partake in, it's something they'd rather not have on their servers at all. And so the number of people who, when this game was coming out, were basically, it has PvP, I'm not playing it. Now, they have, because the demand for non-PvP areas was so great, they changed the Deep Desert. Originally, the Deep Desert here was, I think, 2 lines out of 10 lines. So it was, I think it's a 10 by 10 square. Maybe it's a 9 by 9 square. I can't remember. But the first 1 or 2, I think it was 2 lines of where you came in were PvE, and the other 7 were PvP. It's 10, because now it's 5 and 5. So it's 10 wide and 10 high, I think, in terms of little squares of area. And the bottom 5 rows are PvE now, and only the top 5 are PvP. Now, granted, the loot and the harvestable goodies are better in the PvP zone, but that's probably the way it should be. The PvP players should actually have access to the best rewards. I'm not someone who thinks that the PvP players shouldn't be rewarded for that style of play. I think they should. But for a lot of PvE MMO players, having any kind of significant PvP focus is a reason for them not to play the game. And so the reason a lot of MMO designers continue to chase PvP design is because you don't have to create content for it. You don't have to create quests and all that stuff, because the players are the content. Creating the content in an MMORPG is very time consuming and very expensive. I have no objection to the PvP in this game, especially now that they increased the space in the Deep Desert. I basically knew what I was getting into. I got into the game for what you might call the Haga Basin gameplay. And when I got to the point where I needed to go into the Deep Desert to start getting stuff, the curve had gotten so steep for new gear that even if it had played like the rest of the game, the curve was so steep I kind of lost interest. So I would create another character and level up, because that's the part of the game I enjoy. Similar to Guild Wars 2, where I just enjoy leveling up characters. Because I'm crazy. But in a good way, of course. He's just crazy. Do I have blood? I do not have blood. Water capacity is at full. Did I make? I start talking about blood and I break into my bad Transylvanian accent. No, we need 1 more copper ingot. As the copper out, would you open up, please? Copper outside my home respawned. Look at that. Who's a happy little copper node? And who's a happy little iron node? You are. I don't want the iron to feel unloved. Let's make some more copper. Good point about PvP content and game loop. That's why Sony and Warner Brothers kept throwing millions at the Dream Games as a service mode game. Both failed, but continuing the chase. Well, they have lessened the chase. Sony has pulled back for sure. After buying the studio that was making Concord, launching Concord, and pulling the plug inside what? 48 hours? 72 hours? I don't know. However fast it was freaking fast. But yeah, they're all still chasing the games as a service because the holy grail for game companies, they are doubling down on Marathon. That's true. The holy grail for game companies is recurring revenue. And that's why after WoW went, so many other companies started cranking out WoW clones. Is because they saw the money that WoW was making every month, billions a year, and they went, whoop, 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 I want me some of that. Sadly, most of them didn't make anything particularly original, which is why they all ended up kind of failing. I mean, not complete failures, obviously. Final Fantasy XIV initially was a fail. They redid it, basically making it into a WoW clone, at least gameplay-wise. And that made it a success. They had already had an audience, though. So that's why they could do that. They had, the standard Final Fantasy fanboys and fangirls waiting for it. When it came out, they played it, they loved it. I can't remember if I played FF14 on stream. I think I did. I've not played it a lot. I've tried it 3 or 4 times. The last time I tried it, I think I streamed it. But it might be before I started putting all my stuff up on YouTube. So what happened for me, at least, is I was playing it and I got further than I had in the 2 or 3 previous tries. I got to 20 something and I had a quest that required me to run a dungeon with other people. And I hate that sort of mechanic, but I said, fine, I'll do it. It was the worst experience I have ever had in an MMO running a dungeon. Not because they were cursing at me. Not because they ninja looted. Not because of any of those negative behaviors. Nobody said a word. The other players were very high level doing dailies. And they ran through murdering everything. And I had to run and keep up. I barely hit anything. I have no idea what the quest was. I had no idea of what the place even looked like because we were running through. It took 8 or 10 minutes at the outside. And everyone just vanished when it was over. And I would rather have done it with bot NPCs where I could do it at my own pace. I could, the game's supposed to be about the story. What story? We ran through it. I had no idea what the dungeon was. Not a word was spoken. It was, it wasn't like a painful, excruciating experience like you would think from the worst. It was just a waste of time. It wasn't difficult. It was just a complete and utter waste of my time. And I get out, and the next quest is another dungeon. That's it. Uninstall. Never going back. They added a nice new mechanic so you can finally do them with bots. You see, had that been in place, I would not have the objection I have. Well, I would not have that objection to Final Fantasy XIV. WoW has recently, in the previous expansion, War Within, added bot NPCs so you could go through the storyline dungeons with them to follow the story. I wish Guild Wars 2 would do the same goddamn thing. But it was just such a dreadful experience for me. Now, for a lot of people, they might go, oh, come on, it's not that big a deal. No, it's not a big deal. It's just not what I want in my game at all. It's kind of the opposite of what I want in my game. If I'm doing a dungeon like that, I want to be doing it either with humans or with NPCs. Having humans that are less interactive than NPCs is not a plus. Deposit water. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So I have not been back to Final Fantasy XIV, and the number of posts where you see FF14 players and fans talk about how it doesn't really get good until you're 50 or 100 or 200 hours into the game playing through the storyline is not conducive to bringing me back. These are fans of the game, and they're all kind of going, yeah, it's you got to go through the story. If you want to do the story, you're looking at the lowest number I've ever seen is 50. I've seen as high as 200. I mean, would you read The Lord of the Rings if someone said, the first 1,000 pages aren't great, but those last 500, they're awesome? No, thank you. So I have not been back, and I do not expect I'll be going back to Final Fantasy XIV. I want to. It is undeniably a great game. It has millions of players over the years, players who love it, who play it constantly. They bring out new stuff. Now, granted, people are not nuts about like the last expansion, but it is a success by any definition. I just can't stand it. I'm not a fan of JRPGs to begin with, and the other problems with this were just made it a complete non-starter for me. Oh, that's not true. It wasn't a non-starter. I started. I just started and then stuttered. It lost me. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, Guild Wars 2, I keep playing. I see someone complaining that, it never grabbed them. I can understand that. It plays very differently if you're expecting a game like WoW or Final Fantasy XIV or Star Wars The Old Republic or Lord of the Rings Online. It doesn't play like those. It plays differently. And if I see like people complaining about they can't stand the weapon swap mechanic. I get that. I mean, granted, they could play Elementalist or Engineer who aren't allowed to weapon swap, and that would take care of that problem. But no, it's a valid complaint. And if you don't like the game, if it doesn't grab you, you shouldn't feel bad about it. It just doesn't work for you. Not every game is for every person. And that's especially true, I think, in an MMO, where a lot of that is because you're supposed to play the game for an extensive period of time. Right? They want you to play a lot. They bring new material in to bring you back or keep you in. You're supposed to play a lot. It's natural that people are going to be more or less involved in a game when it's got a lot of the mechanics and past gameplay and storyline and stuff. It can be really imposing to come back to a game you've never, or come to a game you really haven't played. And so if it doesn't grab you right from the start, there's no real reason to sink another 20 hours into the game. I've been blabbing here for a while. Murdered by pirates is good, so blabbing's good too, right? Stealing from thieves. Locate the cache of stolen goods outside Mirzabah. Which one is that? Stealing from thieves. I think it's this. Stealing from thieves. No. No. You'll note none of these say stealing from thieves. There it is. It's part of payback. But you have to scan to see that that's the one you're looking at doing so that you can then track it. This is one of the reasons that the UI on this game is so utterly terrible. I need the cache. Yeah, that's not the one I thought it was. Pilgrims. Oh, we have a specific place we have to place that one. Let's see where that is. There? To the west. That one? No, that's stealing from thieves. Is it? Yeah, it's inside a base there, I think. So that one I want to wait until I at least get the sniper rifle. That's my next big objective, is to get the sniper rifle. But I think for that, I need to actually get the weapons fabricator. And the weapons fab is down here in the steel products, I think. Yeah. And we can't open these up until we've spent 22 more intel points. Let's grab the repair station and the cut array. So we're going to need those regardless. Can we make... I don't think we can make the cut array. It would be an improvement if we can. Where's the cut array? Is it in here? Cut array. We can make the cut array. Sold! That will allow us to harvest carbon so that we can make steel. And that will replace that cut array. And this will go into our emergency if we die batch of goods. Not just die. Technically, our emergency if we get eaten by Shai-Hulud or murdered by sandstorm supplies. And how about the repair? I can make the repair station. All right. Turn around. Turn around. Sorry, I apologize. That was uncalled for. Breaking out terrible music and me singing it, that's just not fair to any of you. Let's see what we can repair. That will take copper. Sure. The leader John, take copper. Sure. Utility gathering tools. Improvised cut array. Why is that still in my inventory? Why the hell is that still in my inventory? Because you're a dope. Oh yeah, it's because I'm a dope. No. Power pack? Yep. Yep. Sure. We don't want to use up our spice-infused copper dust just yet. The Holtzman shield? Yep. Okay, that's everything. So, we were checking what was necessary to get us to steel. And we need another 14 points. We could spend the points, But it wouldn't do us any good because we can't unlock any of the stuff below until we do so. So we're going to need more points. How about over in skills? We've got points to spare. Let's see. When you focus on your technique and breathing, you can recuperate your stamina faster. That seems pretty good. Stamina bonus when you're hydrated. Yes, please. 15% stamina when you're fully hydrated. It's not just for streamers, hydration. It's for swordmasters, too. Uh-huh. Max stamina loss while dehydrated. Sure. By the way, these all, you'll note, have 3 pips underneath. You have to talk to a trainer and do a series of quests to open up each individual. The first pip is unlocked when you first unlock the skill. The second and third require additional quests. Increase the maximum stamina. Yes, please. Bleed tolerance. I've never really had a problem with bleeding in the game, so not a big deal. I'm now using a sword, so long blade damage seems good. Anything else? Well, we got 5 points. Let's see. Dew gathering. We would like more dew gathering because we're now gathering dew. Go figure. Compaction, not really. We're not using compaction very often. And then over here, we've got the trooper stuff. Suspense or dash. That one's pretty good. Let's remove that. All right, we've got the Spencer Dash now. What that allows us to do basically is when we get yoinked by the claw, we can glide. So if we can see if I can show you that. That wasn't it. Allows you to manipulate your flow. Press the dash button while suspended to perform a mid-air dash. So if I plummet from up here, nothing. It may require an active suspensor belt, which I don't currently have. The Emperor's wings might count for that. I want to make those. Emperor's wings. Allows temporary gravity negation. They deplete power as long as they're kept activated. Jump twice to activate and float upwards. Never used this one much. The passive one makes it difficult to die. My little brief experimentation with this one, it was not good at slowing you down. But it might be useful. Drop off that cutter, right? This is the improvised one. We don't need that at all. Don't tell anyone I'm littering outside my house. Pretty soon I'll have my sand bike up on blocks outside. So if we equip this, bloop, like that. Apparently this one also allows you to sort of jump and hover. But the main reason is to use the pseudo flying ability. Like that. But it doesn't have the automatic. I took a little damage there. It slows you a little, but not enough to keep you from taking damage. So it's good in transit, but I'll have to be willing to swap them when I'm in a location where I'm just going to be plummeting. I think I'm going to call it here for the evening. I want to thank you guys, as always, for hanging out with me on a Friday evening. Welcome to your weekend. I should be back tomorrow, at least at the usual time of 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, middle of the night in Europe, morning in Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. But also possibly earlier in the day, between noon and 1 p.m. Pacific time, for an early session. I am not sure. It'll depend on how things go, how I'm feeling, what's up, you know. I'm a diva. I'll do what I want when I want. But I'll also be back at the usual time. Anyway, thanks again, guys, for hanging out. Hopefully you will see me soon. I hope the rest of your Friday is awesome. I hope your weekend kicks ass, as mentioned earlier. I expect a full report on your ass-kicking weekend on my desk first thing Monday morning. Have a great weekend. Take care, and ciao.